Hey, so today we thought we would go over one of John's favorite bags. He loves bags. Every time we go on a trip, he thinks he needs a new bag. So he's definitely a connoisseur of the various types of bags that are out there on the market. And we thought we'd just go over one of his favorite today. We generally travel with at least two when we're going on a bug shot or other photography trips. But this is one of the top ones. So if this is something that you're interested in, you can like and subscribe and you'll be notified when we make more videos like this.
So today I'm going to talk about basically my go-to bag for just carrying out in the field, actually wearing it, not just transporting gear, and you know, just for general use kind of purposes. It is an f-stop bag, the Loca model. Now this one is like 7-8 years old, but they still do make the Loca model. It's just a updated version, but I think from what I can tell online, a lot of the things that I'll point out about this bag are similar. So I first learned about the brand f-stop again probably about 8 years ago or so, when I was looking for a bag that had more flexibility for transporting camera gear and some hiking that I was needed, because we were going to do the Inca Trail. And so I wanted something that would hold some camera gear, but also some other, you know, a little bit of food and clothing and things like that while we were hiking. But we were going to be at other places along this entire trip, and so at other times I wanted basically a more robust camera bag. And so I was looking for different options for flexibility there, and stumbled upon f-stop. And at the time anyway, I don't know if they're for sure the ones that pioneered this, but at the time anyway, for me, I realized they were doing something fairly novel by using something called what they call ICUs, or internal camera unit bags, or yeah, compartments. A number of other camera bag makers are doing that now, and I think it's a really clever way to build in flexibility to your bag. So anyway, I got this. It worked great for that trip. I have used it as my go-to bag ever since. It's about 37 liters, so it will definitely carry a lot, especially if you really you know, load it down. But it is always comfortable. And it's small enough that, you know, it works well for just, again, my go-to bag when we're hiking, you know, short distances in the field or something like that as well. So general appearance, I didn't load this down, but I just have a few things in it to give you an idea. I've got a small tripod on the sides. You can get a sense of how that can be strapped on. A hydro flask. This one, and I think most of the f-stop bags actually handle a hydration bladder as well. There's a slot that I'll show you where that can go in, and then the tube to drink out of can actually come out of this side of the bag, so it's literally built for that. Just looking at the outside, it has got straps that allow you to really cinch things down so that everything can be, you know, tight. You could cinch something onto the front of here if you wanted to, onto the sides. It's got lots of places to hook things because of these straps on the side here. You could use carabiners and hook things. Those are on both sides. It has, like a lot of bags, get the tripod out here. I can flip this around a bit more and I'll show you. Like most bags, it has a pouch for a rain fly on the bottom. So it just unzips, and then there's a rain fly that's in here that can be taken out that fits on the bag. which is good, especially when you're hiking the Inca Trail and it does nothing but rain the entire time. So this is a little bit different than, from what I can tell, than the current version of the Loca bag on the FSUP site. This one has a clasp going across the front to tighten it, but then it's got basically a zipper that goes straight down where you can put, you know, anything from like an iPad to diffusers or things like that are kind of flat, although it can bow out a bit, so you could even probably put some clothing in there. I think the newer one, maybe the zipper is on the side instead of right down the middle. So that's one difference that I can tell. The bag opens from the back rather than, in terms of actually accessing the main part, rather than from this side, which is historically the way most camera bags open. But a lot of manufacturers have been going to the idea of opening them on the back side because of security. It makes it, you know, somebody can't just come along easily, unzip or slash the bag open and grab it while you're grab things out while you're wearing it. You access it from this side. By the way, the straps are all really, you know, great, very comfortable. The waist belt is nicely padded. Again, lots of places where you could hook things if you wanted to. These pads, you know, again, have really held up quite well when you consider how much I've used it and everywhere it is gone. I've had no issues with it. So inside, I've just oftentimes will lay this diffuser just right across the top, and then I just placed a few things in here to give you a sense of kind of the size and what can go in it. Again, it's not fully loaded, but you can put, you know, kind of odd shaped things like this flash system will fit in there. Larger telephoto lenses, this is a 70-200, fits in there like that. This is a 5D Mark IV with a vertical grip, and there's enough depth to it that I can put the camera in there like that. You can also, of course, put it in there like that. Just a regular speed light, you can fit in there, again, depth-wise. Yeah, it won't fit in there very well if you just stick it in straight like that, because the bag's not that deep. I wouldn't do that, although you probably could zip it shut, but that would be uncomfortable on your back and you could take a chance on damaging your equipment. But it definitely will fit in there just folded like that. And then I oftentimes will wrap something so that things don't scratch, but I can use that space to put something else in too. You know, just a standard 100mm lens, even with a tripod collar, fits in there quite nicely. So one of the things that really attracted me to this bag initially was the concept of these ICUs, or internal camera units, as FSOP calls them, because it provides tremendous flexibility. So you know, when you first glance at it, it looks pretty typical. These are just normal pads. They're all completely flexible with Velcro. You know, when you need to move them around, it's easy to do so. So there's nothing too you know, remarkable about that. They fit well, and you know, and so on. But these are inside of these ICUs, and in this case, I actually have two of these. So these ICUs just fit inside the bag. I'll take this one out here. They just there's these little Velcro straps that just go around a hook in there. Get that strap out. There. There we go. And so this is what they call their small ICU. It can zip up. You can tell it's been in there a while, dirt coming out with it, but it can zip up. You can actually hook straps to this if you wanted to carry it or something. It can be self-contained. And in this case, this typical configuration I have here, I have two of these. But you can get different sizes for the different bags. So here's a larger one that would fit in here that is basically the same as two of these if you didn't want to split that up.
Can you open that one up on the inside just
Sure.
so people can see?
And FSOP makes a whole series of different kinds of bags, different sizes of bags that use these. So if you ended up getting a couple of different FSOP bags, for example, you wouldn't have to necessarily get duplicate the ICUs. It's one of the kind of the creative and ingenious parts about the system. But to give you a real world example of how this worked for me when we were hiking in Peru, I needed a bag that I could fully load up with camera equipment. So I initially had it configured like you saw when we first opened this up. So something like this, fully loaded down with camera equipment, because we were going to be doing other things besides just hiking the Inca Trail. And then when we were actually hiking the Inca Trail, what I did was I removed this one. It's harder to get to just because of it. But imagine that basically I removed one of these, left some camera equipment in a hotel, packed in here that I knew I wasn't going to need, zipped up, protected. And all of a sudden I then had additional space for clothing and food and things that I needed, while this was still loaded down with camera equipment. Again, I actually had camera equipment here and the clothing here. And it just worked really, really well. And I've used that several times since in different places that we have traveled. It has, just some standard kind of pockets here that can hold a bunch of different things. I usually put batteries in here, cleaning cloths and hex wrenches and things like that up here. These are for memory cards. I don't typically use them, but that's what they're there for. And I assume that the new version of this bag essentially looks the same like that. Then the top has two different pouches, and this is something else that I really like about it. So it's got a really easy, quick, convenient pouch on the top that can hold quite a bit. It's got a couple of pockets up here. You could put anything from a phone to whatever, a clip for keys. Again, I assume that the new Loca version, I know it has these two pockets. I assume that they're configured basically the same. And then the second one underneath that is really just, it's got a little mesh pocket here, but you're seeing the top of the ICU. And so there's a fair bit of space up there which you can put stuff. I'll put things that are okay if they bang around, like flash brackets or things like that are also odd shapes and sizes. You can put food, again, clothing, whatever, kinds of things. There's a fair bit of space there. Then you can also, if you're using a hydration flask, this is how you would, a hydration bladder, this is how you would access it. You basically just, there's a pouch back here where you can slip that bladder in, and then you just run the tubing out through the hole in the bag that's up here. You can also, though, use this for a laptop, and that's what I have typically done. So you can just put your laptop in a bag to give it a little bit more protection, and then that could just slide. There's nothing in this, so it's a little harder, but basically that just slides in the back of the bag like that, and you can easily access it just by opening up and pulling this out. So you can store a laptop in this, a fair bit of camera equipment, and it provides a considerable amount of flexibility. This is the only one I have of their bags, but if I was going to invest in other bags, larger bags, I would certainly take a look at some of theirs, because again, these ICUs work across their different bags, and I just really like that compartmentalized system, because it just provides a tremendous amount of flexibility.
So you're always, I know, looking at bags. Would you rebuy this bag again, or would you buy another one that they maybe have?
No, I mean, I like this size a lot for, again, just when we're out in the field and I'm carrying camera equipment beyond just on my neck. This is pretty much always the bag that I choose. It's lightweight. It's, I don't know if I said, but it's about 37 liters, and so it's lightweight. The cats are checking it out,
Yeah.
and agreeing about it too. But yet it can hold a lot. For me, it's that perfect size of being able to hold a lot, but not being so big. So I have smaller bags. I'm always wishing I had a little bit more space in those. I have larger bags, which I do use for transporting gear more than carrying gear per se, like hiking with it. This is that perfect size for me. Again, the go-to bag, throwing stuff in it to when we're walking around in the field, but it can handle all that I need in a comfortable way for day hike kinds of things like that. So absolutely, I would buy this version again. This particular one they don't sell, but the newer version of it, best I could tell, very, very similar, and I would absolutely buy it again. Though as much as this has been used, I have to say, I've had other bags I've had to return or get repaired. This has been used as much as any bag that I own, I think.
Yeah, I'd say we take it on almost every trip. I'm not sure I
Yeah.
can think of a trip since we've gotten this bag that we didn't bring it.
And I've not had a single, stitching issue, zipper issue, anything. The other thing I would point out is size-wise, this works really well. It fits in the overhead bin of the smallest of planes. I've gotten in arguments with flight attendants about it, and I have been right. It does fit in those. You can even get it under the seat in some, larger, maybe not the smallest of planes, but even a larger plane. This would even fit under the seat. So again, it's a great size that fills a really needed niche for my camera bags.
It attracts wildlife.
Sometimes that's good, sometimes it's not.
Okay, so that's the review of the F-Stop. What's the name of the bag again?
Loka.
Loka.
L-O-K-A.
So that's the review of the F-Stop Loka. If you have any questions or comments about this bag, or you have a bag that you like, you can put them in the comments below. And as a reminder, if you can like and subscribe, it really encourages us to make more videos like this. Thanks. Bye.
Bye.